Like sex is what makes romantic relationship a different type of a relationship. And so, especially in your case, if you became business partners, that totally puts you like, now we're equal, we're the same. And so the problem is that if you have kids, if you live together, if you have any projects together, you have to be equal. That's kind of how life works. And so we have to be very mindful and conscious about bringing this polarity in when we need this. So I also don't agree with some of the views where they say like, you always need this polarity, because I feel like, it's like men say that they want a surrendered woman, but I'm like, do you really want someone to be taken care of 24/7? Like for a long-term relationship, you want a partner, right? It's like if you need to rest, you want to make sure that she can handle things. So it's more about, okay, we're missing that passion. We got to bring this back, right? It's more like a tool that when you need to, you know how to use. And so the simplest way is for a man to step up in his masculine so that a woman responds to his energy. It's much easier this way than the other way around. So expecting a woman to just be very feminine, soft and receptive when a man is not stepping up into his masculine is not really gonna work, because the feminine is in response to what you do. So it's more on the men's side, it's like taking charge. It's like, okay, like, and I know this may be difficult if you don't feel it, but it's a little bit like fake it till you make it, right? It's like, so the first few times it will feel forced. You will try to kind of take charge and you won't really feel it. But it's kind of like, like going back into any of your old habits, right? If you go to the gym every day and then you stop, then going back, it's like, oh gosh, I don't really want to do it. But you remember, right, how you felt when you used to. And so it gives you this extra motivation. And so it's the same here. Yes, you lost that polarity, you don't feel attraction, but you kind of almost like force yourself. You're making an effort to push through that initial phase of difficulty and discomfort until this energy just becomes natural, right? And you kind of step back into your masculine. But it's more on the men's side to be leading again, to be taking charge of things. And then you'll see that she will drop into the feminine more, which will now push you more into the masculine, and the sparks will start flying.
So how do you advise? Because now it kind of makes sense, because I'm thinking like in that situation, I was like completely passive. And what happened with me is that she was so good at business that I like, okay, you take on the role, I'll just create and you do the business side of work, And she was doing it and she was good at it and we were making a lot of money. Everything was wonderful. But at the end of the day, she was expecting something that I was not giving. And I tried really hard. It was just not in me. So what would be your advice? Like how do I step up?
Yeah. Well, so first of all, yes, in the times of the lockdown, it was kind of limited. The possibilities were limited, mostly because for the desire, for the sparks to come back, we need distance. And this can be distance in space or in time. So distance in space is very clear. Like you leave the house and you don't see each other for a few hours, which was, of course, a big issue during the lockdown, and many couples suffered from that, right? But it's also good, especially when you're together for a longer time, is actually travel like for a week. And ideally, don't be in touch. Like, don't send each other messages, don't send photos. Let the other person wonder what it is that you're doing, right? So we have this distance. It's like, you don't know me. It's about, again, bringing back this idea that, like, I am a mystery. But there's also distance in time. And this is something that I find most people kind of undervalue in relationships. So think, to the dating times when you're like, looking forward to a date, right? Let's say, okay, you're seeing her in 3 days. You're excited. You're planning it. You're thinking, okay, what am I going to wear? Now, once we get into the relationship, we totally stop doing this. And we actually have this weird idea that it's not sexy, for example, to schedule dates. And so many couples are against the idea of scheduling like properly sex because they think it's like very mechanical. But again, if you were like waiting for the date, you're like, okay, in 3 days, I'm getting laid, right? That's pretty much scheduling sex. So if you can bring this back in a playful way, so something I am a big fan of, and anytime I work with couples, it's like this. I need you to give me at least 2 hours a week. Then I can save any relationship. And these 2 hours is for your weekly date. And so there's like, unless some emergency happens, you don't skip it, right? It's like it's a sacred time in your calendar. And I like to do things that you switch. So like 1 week partner one comes up with everything and designs everything, and then you alter.
Cool.
Yeah, because I think we all enjoy both, receiving, but also we enjoy giving and doing things. And especially I think for modern women, we don't only want to be in that receptive state. I think there's so much space for women to explore their dominating side, also in the bedroom. And here there's a bit of possibility for a woman to actually, take charge and surprise you with something and do something nice for you. But honestly, for most couples, if you can make sure that once a week, like one evening, you are in that polarity, you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about this every day, though ideally like evenings or mornings would be nice if you could bring that back. But if it's not possible, just make sure you have one evening at a week where you really step back into the role of lovers and courting each other and dating. That is enough for relationships to last.
But okay, so you are saying let's schedule dates, let's play this game, foreplays and everything, So how often is like a healthy, let's say, frequency to have sex when in a relationship?
It's such a common question that I get. This is my opinion. This is not scientifically based, but I would say 3 times a week.
3 times a week. How long?
Oh, well, I wouldn't say how long. I would say how deep you go and how satisfying you get. But this is
Like
I would say I'd say something. It's not about the length.
Yeah.
But it's true. We're talking about good sex, because I think very often like kind of couples think, oh, we have sex often enough, so it's good. But if your sex is not good, right? If it feels if it feels more like a physical release of stress or an obligation, which is also a case for many couples, then it's not going to work. You want to make sure that it's good. Now, to be fair, of course, there will be times when it's messy and you're not in the flow.
Yeah.
That's okay, as long as that's like just a percentage and not all the time.
Because no, I'm saying this because I'm gonna disqualify myself here probably. All the ladies like, oh, this guy's working. For me, 3 times is too much. I'm not gonna lie. I got other stuff to do, And for me, when I want to have sex, it's like it's going to be the whole night or the whole thing. So it's a serious investment. So probably a Friday night is good for me because we can have the Friday. We will start around 9 p.m. Maybe dinner. Go out, come back, and have the whole night, and then wake up hungover, and I can do that only once a week.
Okay.
No,
that makes sense. So let me add something to this. Let's expand your definition of sex.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. So sex for me begins before sex. It's just who I am. I just love, for example, the way we kind of prepare for it. I feel like I'm selling my services here. Because I'm all about design. Yeah, I have a design background. So let's say the outside look of sex has to be pretty. I love female lingerie. It's just like I live by it. It's gorgeous. I just love it. Let's just not go there. And some other stuff that I'm not gonna go into, and so that's I wouldn't call it the superficial level, the outside aspect,
the visual.
Exactly, that's the word. So the visual is very important. I cannot feel horny if my lady is looking like I might find her cute and like huggily and all that stuff, but it will not activate, let's say, the beast inside me. So I am used to that aspect, like it's date night, let's just, and I would probably wear a suit or something, and we will go for dinner, and we'll have this incredible meal, and we'll have share a nice conversation, go probably to some bar, and like the flow. So I like thing to last. That's the key, because unfortunately, like this is funny. I remember I met this girl and we were doing the whole ritual, the pre-party, the pre-drinks, and we came here, and because I also love music, so I like to play my music, and I'm sitting the whole thing, and I could see that she's getting frustrated, and she just asked, "When are you gonna fuck me?" I was like, "Fuck, I forgot about that part." And she was completely, she's beautiful, the whole thing. And it struck me, because I'm like, we've been home probably from 1 a.m. and it's already 4 a.m. And we're just like playing, kissing, and the whole thing. And I was like, you want me to fuck you? I will fuck you, no problem. But as soon as I'll do it, I need to sleep, And I think that's where probably I kind of suck, I just like, when I arrive to destination, it's almost like the pleasure of sex is gone and it becomes work. So this is my way again. I always try to make the woman orgasm first.
Because I was going to say, it sounds like you're someone who could potentially explore more receiving pleasure. Because if it feels like work, you're probably a lot in the state of like, I need to be the one doing. And it's kind of like up to me. It's my job to make sure that she's satisfied.
Yeah, no, I always try. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I don't. I'm a human being. But once, like I said, I don't want to arrive at the destination because I know it's over. The spark is gone. Especially if I don't have like an emotional connection.
Yes. So that's actually, I mean, we do know that this is how your hormones work.
Yeah.
So if you are not bonded to a woman and you have sex, your vasopressin basically goes all the way down and you just literally don't even want to look at her.